Being an entrepreneur is not just a job, it is a way of life. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, it impacts every area of your life. If you're making decisions on your business, it can impact your mood, which impacts your relationships, which could impact your health. And if one area is going great but another isn't, it can all have a domino effect. So life coaching can be absolutely invaluable to an entrepreneur. And today I'm going to tell you 3 powerful reasons why, if you're an entrepreneur, you definitely want to have a life coach. So my name is Sonia Satra. I am a coach, an executive coach, and an NLP practitioner, and also the founder and CEO of Motosize, a company that integrates mindset into movement so that you get it into your minds, your bodies, and your emotions. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I am married to an entrepreneur. And one of my very first coaching clients with an entrepreneur was my husband. He had this great deal. He was a filmmaker, and he had what they call a first look deal, where he was essentially paid for ideas. And we were living in New York. I just had my daughter. I had just gotten certified as a life coach, but hadn't fully started working yet. And he was called to California to have a meeting with the parent company, or the company that had hired him, and he was all prepared, flew out, was ready to extend another year or whatever. He had ideas he was gonna pitch, and he was fired. What am I gonna do? How are we gonna survive? We just had a baby, you're not working right now, and what are we gonna do? And this is a disaster, and I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, it's gonna be okay. You know, I'll start coaching, or I'll get a different job, or whatever the case might be, we're gonna figure it out. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna be able to do this, and how does anybody ever make $1 million in this business? And I know it seems extreme to go from 0 to $1 million, but for some reason, my husband had in his head that $1 million was gonna make everything okay. If he could just earn $1 million, that was security to him. And I was like, well, somebody's done it, so it must be possible. And of course, in my head, I'm thinking, you're a coach, do something, say something, be brilliant right now. And so I just popped out the question, well, what if it was easy? What would you do? And at that moment, he was like, I guess I would start my own company. Now, that idea had never come up before. He had sold scripts, he had written, he had produced, he had this first look deal, but never had he actually talked about starting his own company. I was like, you would? And so we started to go down that road, and I started to coach him on this idea. The next day, he called up a friend, they started an LLC, they started to reach out to all of their contacts, of which they had many. And within 1 year, I kept coaching him, and he made $1 million. So that to me was the beginning and a very eye-opening experience as to what is possible for an entrepreneur when you have a coach. Now it's true, I lived with him and I was coaching him a lot, but there were 3 key factors in what happened in that sort of go back and forth. One is, when you're an entrepreneur, a lot of times you're isolated. You don't really have anybody to talk to. Maybe you're working by yourself, or you have a few people working for you, but they're looking to you for answers. You can't go to them and say, hey, I have no idea what to do. Do you? You know, it kind of doesn't work that way. You're in charge and you're the one giving instructions. So it really, really helps to have somebody on your side who's kind of rooting for you and cheering you on, and can help be a sounding board to your ideas, to your creativity, to reflect back what they're hearing. That's a big part of what a coach does, is listen and hear, where's the excitement, where's the energy, where is it falling flat? Which leads me to the second thing, and this was a key in his success. He's gone on now to have like huge award-winning shows, extremely successful, and I've coached him through it all. It's unusual that somebody in a relationship can coach somebody, but he's actually a very good client. He does what we come up with, or what he comes up with me prompting questions. And but the second thing is really tapping into your core. What is that core thing that really lights you up, that really is in alignment with your truth, with what you want, with what you know, with all of your talents and your strengths and your values and all of those things in alignment? What is it? Because you're faced with an unbelievable amount of decisions as an entrepreneur. Every day you have to come up with something, and you're also constantly having to reinvent or change or recreate. And so having to do that on the spot is really, really helpful when you are tapped into your core. That's your inner GPS. That's what's going to tell you what to do. Are you on track? Are you off track? Your emotions play a huge part in that too, in terms of saying, not right or right. But when you are an overwhelmed entrepreneur, your whole life is involved, maybe your kids are sick, or you haven't been to the gym in a couple of weeks and you're stressed out, all of these things start to make those decision-making processes really, really difficult. So having somebody to really help keep you aligned, keep you in alignment with your core, to me is one of the hugest key to success, particularly for entrepreneurs. So that would be number 2. And then the third one is some level of accountability. Because once again, you're more or less on your own. You don't have a boss or a timestamp or something or somebody saying, you know, I need an answer, I have to do this or whatever. So you have to be your own accountability person. And when you're tired or feeling overwhelmed or stressed, or you've got other life things in the way, it is so helpful to have somebody who's cheering you on, who's checking in on you, who's really there, believing in your ability. Because and that's the thing that excites me the most about coaching, is seeing what people are capable of. It's mind-blowing. And when they have somebody who really is on their side, really believing them and helping them believe in themselves when maybe they're feeling a little off, wow, anything can happen. And those are the 3 key things that I believe make a life coach so very important. And if you're interested, I have a special exercise on my website at soniasatra.com. You can do it for free, and it will really help you take a look at your whole life. Where are you at? And what might need a little more love versus where are you going strong? Because when you start to fill in those gaps, then you don't have it fall apart. Because when something falls apart, it will absolutely pull your energy, your time, your focus away from the things that really matter. So you want to kind of keep them all somewhat balanced, or at least in a somewhat fulfilled state. Also, click a like below. Would love to have your support and any other ideas of things that you're interested in knowing. Tap that bell if you want to get more things like this. And I would love to know, as an entrepreneur, what do you do to keep yourself in check, in balance? Do you have a coach? And how has it been valuable to you? Share that below, because a lot of people could learn from you too. So, have a great day.